We have Bill O'Reilly, where we can pick the brain of a giant. And he's on the program now a day early because, I don't know, he can't get up early tomorrow or he wants to sleep in. He's got jammies and he wants to play with his dog. I'm not sure, but he's made time for all of us now. And here he is, Bill O'Reilly.
I'll be in South Carolina, Beck.
You're going to be in South Carolina?
So I'm on the road tomorrow, and I wanted to give you and Stu my undivided attention.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you.
And,
That's
and
amazing.
It's not the most informed analyst in America. It's the most astute.
Most astute. Word for the day. Word for the day. Bill, lots going on this week. Where would you like to start?
You know, I think the frenzy of the media covering the elections is worth talking about.
Okay.
Because, you know, they got a lot invested in this, the national media.
And so does Hollywood. Hollywood is making a push like I have not seen before.
Yeah,
they are everywhere.
Anything. Those pinheads don't mean anything. You know, it's interesting because there isn't one Hollywood star now that can open a movie. It used to be Clint Eastwood or John Wayne or, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger. They could open movies that people would just go to see the film because they were in it. That's gone. There isn't any buddy out there of superstar stature. So thus you're left with Robert De Niro cursing and, you know, guys who haven't showered in 5 days, and I don't even know who they are.
Oprah Winfrey is in Georgia this weekend.
Who?
Oprah.
Oprah is going to be on the tour with Mrs. Obama.
The campaign for the governor of Georgia.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right.
She's campaigning.
Right.
I think she's going to lose. I think the Republican will win in Georgia. But getting back to your original brilliant question, what do you want to talk about?
Right.
And he must have studied, or you and Stu discussed that for about 3 hours.
Yeah, we did.
It's the national media has so much on the line here, because if the Republicans pull it out in the House, and they control both houses of Congress, and Trump struts around like it's me because I did 87,000 rallies and everybody loves me, where's the media go? I mean, they're just slammed to the ground.
I agree with you on this, but I don't think
there's a frenzy now.
Here's what they will do. Of course, they will say, you know what? America is even more racist, than we thought. Even with the shooting and the bombing, this is who America is. Apparently,
that'll bury them even more.
Oh, I know that, but they won't see that.
Bury them even more. You know what? You're starting to attack the messenger, in the sense that people have to either buy your newspaper or watch you on television. You keep insulting them. You're driving people away. And, you know, it is a tribalism thing now, particularly on television news. Whatever tribe you're in, that's the station you watch. Did you guys see the study that came out that 89% of CNN viewers vote Democrat?
Wow. Of course.
That came out, and 95% of Fox News viewers, 95%.
It wasn't like that.
Republican.
It was not like that. When I was there and you were there, it was not like that.
Nope. And so now it's, you know, my tribe has this channel. And then all the networks had very high Democrat voting people. But I see, and I don't think anybody else is really following this, I think if Trump is reelected and the Republicans maintain control, that the national media in this country is going to explode, and in a bad way for them, because they are as crazed, and that's the word, as I've ever seen in my 45 years in journalism.
So
I've never seen people, they're like foaming at the mouth, Beck.
You know, it's bizarre. This week, Don Lemon said, we have to stop demonizing people and realize that the real terrorists in this country are white males, mainly on the right. That's a quote in the same sentence.
What if you or Stu or me said the real threat are black males on the left What if we had said that?
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
we would be
Oh my
done.
gosh.
We would be done.
So then,
but wait.
that. So we would have been fired
Right.
and hung and whipped and then tied to a stake with twigs and burned. Okay, so now let's go back. Why can Don Lemon say that about a portion of the American population?
Because they know Don and they know he's not a racist. And, we also know what's going on in the country. And we know Donald Trump is a racist. So
but here's the deal. If the press were fair and looking for the truth, they would cover Don Lemon like they covered Megyn Kelly.
Yes.
In the blackface thing.
Yes, they would. Yes.
Right. But they don't. So therefore, people who aren't engaged, and that's most people in the media, they don't know Don. Who knows Don Lemon? Go out today in Dallas and ask, hey, what do you think of Don Lemon? And they go, is that lemonade? What?
Right.
They don't know him. Nobody knows him. But the media could have destroyed him, could have said that's a racist statement. I don't believe that Don Lemon's a racist because I never call people racist unless they're members of the Klan or the Nazi Party. Then I can say with a surety that they are. But you're in a country now. We're in a country now where the truth doesn't matter anymore, and that's so frightening to me.
So, Bill, I know I'm asking you to speculate, which you never do, but you're looking at the polls, you're following this.
Yeah, I am.
And you're feeling the mood of the country. What do you think is coming for election night?
Very tight, all over the place. Very, very tight. Up late. It's in places like Montana, in Arizona, Nevada, Missouri, in the Senate races. This is just airtight. And I think that's how it's going to play out. So I believe that the Senate will maintain its Republican status, and maybe the GOP will pick up 2 seats. In the House, it's impossible to say because you don't know the candidates and you don't know how much money is pouring into these small districts. But the Republicans have to defend so many more seats than the Democrats just by the odds, just by that. You would say the Democrats should be very close to a majority in the House. But if it's only a 3 or 4 seat majority, it doesn't really matter because Trump's going to be able to peel away a few votes from moderate Democrats for what he wants to do. If it's 20, 25 seats on the Democratic Party, then you're going to have gridlock for 2 years.
And even if it's 4, you're going to have hearings and investigations and nonstop, don't you think?
Yeah, I doubt it because from my read of the Mueller investigation,
that thing's over.
Yeah, and he's not going to even issue a report. Mueller's not even going to tell the American public what he found or didn't find.
No, it was it was supposed to be issued right after the election. That's what I've read.
According to my sources, which are impeccable, he's going to fall back on this was a criminal investigation. We're not bringing charges against anybody in the Trump administration, and that's it. Goodbye. See you later. I'm around if you need me for anything else. Because if you are an investigative agency and you find nothing against Stu, all right, you don't put out a report that exonerates Stu. You just say, we didn't find anything. We're not going to prosecute. That's what he's going to do. So for $17 million, that's what we're going to get. However, the Inspector General in the Justice Department has to issue his report of whether the FBI intentionally booted the Russian collusion investigation. That ties right into Mueller. Now, he has to get specific, but he'll do what he did the last time. He'll go, it doesn't look real good, but, we can't really prove it. Thanks a lot. It's the way our bureaucracy works. You very rarely get anybody who utters a declarative sentence and points a finger. They don't do this. These guys are CYA experts.
So what does this mean, then, if the Democrats control? You don't believe that they have a chance of taking the Senate, do you?
No. I mean, if that happens, that's Armageddon for Trump.
Yes. If they take the House, and do you think it's more likely that it's 25 or 3?
I would say it's close. It's going to be under 10. I'm probably going to be wrong.
What does the country look like a year from now with, a House that is controlled by the Democrats?
I just don't think it's going to be that big a deal. I don't think that the Democratic Party is going to launch articles of impeachment because they'll lose the presidential race in 2020. I mean, time goes fast. And I just don't see the leadership, such as it is, of the Democratic Party wanting Donald Trump reelected president. And if you're going to, put up a Kavanaugh situation against Trump, you're assuring his reelection because he's got 45% of the electorate now. Trump's got 45% of the vote now. You do anything crazy, you push him easily into 55. Mm-hmm. Look, people think that there are all these secular all these progressives running around. They're very, very few in number, but their voices are heard because the media acts in concert with them. Mm-hmm. All right? There aren't that many of them. Most Americans are in the middle. They just want to have a government that functions well so they have opportunity and raise their kids and work hard. That's what they do. But they don't like persecutions. They don't like dishonesty. And, in New Jersey, that's a race I'm watching.
Okay, so hang on just a second. I want to go to the New Jersey, and then I want to go to the governor's race in Florida, because what you just said kind of doesn't work in Florida. And we'll talk to Bill O'Reilly about that when we come back from BillO'Reilly.com. And don't forget his new book, Killing the SS. Fantastic book, available at bookstores everywhere. Back with Mr. Bill O'Reilly, and we're talking about the elections next week and Menendez, who is running in New Jersey. Let's talk about that, Bill.
Yeah, he's losing support fast, and if the Democrats lose New Jersey, that will be stunning. And I just don't know. I used to live in New Jersey, how anybody could vote for Robert Menendez. I just can't imagine it. And that disturbs me. This guy, he just, and it was a hung jury, just got it. And then the Senate Ethics Committee hammered him, and then you're going to cast your ballot for this man? Oh, my God. And this is corruption, this beyond any reasonable doubt.
Well, see, and that is the thing when you said, people don't like corruption. They don't, but they.
I know, but what is
they
it
seem to excuse it a lot.
5-point lead over the Republican challenger in New Jersey. Now, that lead is shrinking, and the commercials are devastating here against Menendez. So I think that might go to the Republican column.
Stu, do you think? Stu is just really good at stats.
Yeah. We've been tempted so many times to believe that New Jersey is going to, it's going to happen. And it's really the only example of where it really has was the Christie election when he beat Corzine. But that was the same type of situation. Menendez should go down for this. I don't know if he will, but I'm, hopeful.
Let me go ahead.
And in the other states that it's really tough is Arizona and Nevada. Now, I said yesterday on the No Spin News, which, of course, is the newscast of record now in America, next to the Blaze. It's kind of a split.
Well,
I said yesterday that I don't believe there's going to be a big African-American turnout for the midterms, larger than usual, or Hispanic-American. I could be wrong on a Hispanic-American thing because the caravan got their attention. But the Kavanaugh thing, that doesn't engage, generally speaking, people who are really trying to make ends meet, and they're not watching cable and are not reading the newspapers and not locked in. They have to do so much just to survive.
So what is the thing? I know what's driving the ends. The democratic socialism, stop Trump, driving that. Probably the caravan and Kavanaugh driving that. What's driving the average person to go out and vote, Bill, do you think?
Well, I was debating a Democratic pollster, and he actually agreed with me that minorities probably won't come out in great numbers. But then he said, these liberal white women in the suburbs are going to put the Dems over the top. It is tribal. There's no doubt about it. And what's driving people, the overwhelming issue in this country now is Donald Trump. So that's the overwhelming issue. His supporters love him. They're engaged. they're energized, and they're going to go and vote straight Republican ticket. And the people who don't like them are going to do the exact opposite. So you can talk health care, you can talk the economy, you can talk the issues. It's about Donald Trump. He knows it. All right, that's why he's running around everywhere to try to, get his supporters to overwhelm his detractors.
Let's go to Florida. Gillum is an avowed socialist. Florida is not Manhattan, but he is now ahead by 5 points. What's happening there?
I think DeSantis is a bad candidate on the Republican side. He's got no charisma. People don't know who he is. Gillum has got the Democratic establishment, lots of out-of-state money coming in, big money, so he can buy commercials in the populated zones. The machine, the Democratic machine in Florida, is very well organized. Mm-hmm. In Orlando, Dade County, mm-hmm. Broward County, Palm Beach County, and the Tampa area. It doesn't seem like the Republicans are as organized. Now, on the Senate race, I think the governor, Scott there, who's popular, has a shot if the people in the Panhandle devastated by the hurricane can get it together and vote, because that's Republican territory. But I know Florida well. I taught high school there, and it's not the way it was when I was there. It's now a state that is very, very ideological.
Well, when you were when you were there, though,
yes.
I believe Cornelius Vanderbilt had just built the first railroad.
No, Ponce de Leon and I.
Oh, okay,
were
all right,
very good friends.
All right, didn't know they had high school back then, but anyway,
searching for the fountain of youth.
Apparently never found it, Bill. Apparently never found it.
Yeah, okay, Beck, you can mock me if you want. But your audience, they have eyes. They can see you.
Yeah, they can see you.
And they can see me.
Yeah, it's scary, isn't it? I mean, I am looking more and more like Colonel Sanders every day.
Now you get chickens following you around.
Oh, my gosh. Well, the suicidal ones. The chickens are like, please, make this end. I can't watch CNN another minute, please.
Did you have a nice Halloween, Beck? I wanted to ask you that. Were you happy with the way the day went yesterday?
Yes, it seems like an odd question, but yes, I was. I was out with my grandchildren.
Did anybody shaving cream your house or anything? Did you get any of that?
No, I live on a compound. I have SWAT teams.
I paid urchins to do it, so now I'm going to have to get my money.
You're going to have to get your money back. Yeah, you're going to have to get it because that didn't happen.
All right.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break and then come back in a second. Are you on a book tour this weekend?
No, I'm just doing some history stuff in Charleston and
some history stuff. What does that?
Research.
Yeah. On what?
We go to where. The story is always. Mm-hmm. And I want to thank you, by the way, Killing the SS Again, the New York Times #1 bestseller. And, you really had a lot to do with that by telling people it was a good book.
I know.
I'm not.
No, I mean, I throw a bone, your way once in a while.
But you're an honest man, I believe. And if you say it's good, your audience believes.
No, it is. It is good. Bill, thank you very much. Hang on just a second. Back with more of Bill O'Reilly and what is coming next week, and a look back a little bit on what has happened. We talk about Pittsburgh and the pipe bomber when we come back. With Bill O'Reilly from BillO'Reilly.com, a day early, as we head to Richmond, Virginia tonight. We're on stage in Richmond, and then tomorrow in Hershey, Pennsylvania, just for the chocolate and the people. Then in Pittsburgh, and on Sunday we are going to be in Cleveland, Ohio. We invite you to join us. Tickets available at glennbeck.com/tour. Bill, let's talk about Pittsburgh and the Pittsburgh shooting.
Sure.
You know what? Let me instead start with a pipe bomb, because that happened the day before. The pipe bomb guy. Tell me about it.
All right. So, one of the reasons that you and I have a good rapport, and then, we've been doing this now for almost a year and a half, is that we're both interested, I believe, in what the truth is about each story that we cover.
Correct.
Okay. So the truth is that individual loons, people who have neurosis or psychosis, all right, can never, ever be neutralized. from the dawn of mankind, if you read the Bible, Cain and Abel. That's how far I'm going back, Beck.
Wow.
All right? You cannot, as a society or a government or anything, eliminate this kind of behavior. You can't. Now, that's where you start, on the pipe bomb thing, on the Pittsburgh synagogue massacre. Now, can fuses be lit? Absolutely.
Yes.
Can people be provoked?
Yes.
Unstable people? Sure they can.
If I may say, especially if you are only hanging out on your tribal site.
Yes.
If you are only being fed.
In a free society, you are allowed to hang wherever you want to hang.
Correct.
So again, you come back to the fact, can society or a government prevent any of this?
No.
And the answer is no. So that all of these liars and charlatans that you see on television and writing on the op-ed pages of the newspapers, they are basically, and they know this because any clear-thinking person can't argue with what you and I just put forth. You can't. They know that. So they say, I don't really care what the truth is. I'm going to inject gun control into this, or I'm going to inject white nationalism into it, or Donald Trump did it. That's what I'm going to do. Even though I know that's a lie, and that I can't back it up if I go up against O'Reilly or Beck, they'll destroy me in a debate, I'm going to do it anyway. That's what we have in this country. So, anti-Semitism, does it exist?
Yes.
Of course it exists. Killing the SS is all about it.
Right. And is it growing? Right? Yes, it is growing. It's growing all over the world.
It may be growing in certain areas, but I'm more hopeful on that front than you are.
Well, no, I see anti-Semitism always as the canary in the coal mine when a world starts to go to collectivism and Marxism. There's
always scapegoats.
Yeah, it always starts there.
Always does.
Yeah.
And yes.
And it's been building for a decade or more.
Remember, we live in a politically correct society now, okay? A society that demands that public school teachers don't even mention the Holocaust. You can't even mention it in your classroom or risk getting, scolded or some parent complaining, whatever. That is horrible, but it actually helps in the sense that kids, all right, they're not anti-Semitic. I mean, unless their parents are insane inside the house. You don't see that. You don't see white kids throwing rocks at black kids or vice versa. You don't see kids pointing at Jewish people and mocking them. That doesn't happen because it's not acceptable in our society, and that is a good thing. However, the big issue in America is what kind of a country do you, the voter, come out on Tuesday, want? Do you want a country run by liars? Do you want a country run by a party that accuses a president of stimulating the massacre in Pittsburgh? Do you want a country where a party told you can't have due process in the Kavanaugh hearings? Is that what you want? And I mean, I'm not a party apparatchik. You know that. I mean, I'm not. I never endorse candidates. I don't push parties. But I'm sitting there going, who am I going to vote for? I want due process. I don't want the president of the United States accused of being a collaborator in the Pittsburgh synagogue massacre. I don't want that.
If you have,
that's a lie.
Yeah. If you had evidence that he was doing that and this guy was influenced, this guy hates Donald Trump. So how is he possibly involved in this at all? I mean, you could say, and I think it's fair to say, with the pipe bomber, that guy is responsible and alone in the responsibility of those pipe bombs that were sent. The guy is a loner, the guy is sick, and he alone is responsible for it, just like the guy who went to the baseball field, who was a Bernie Sanders worker, not just supporter, a Bernie Sanders worker. That guy was
nobody on the right, and I know anybody,
of. Yes,
right, said, "Oh, the Democratic Party." I mean, there were maybe a few far right loons did it, but I didn't see any mainstream coverage of that. All right. Oh, the Democratic Party, they made this guy go to shoot Scalise and the other Republicans on the ball field. So what's the difference then? Why are we getting the left lying and putting out absurd statements that are taken seriously by CNN and the New York Times, where the other side doesn't do it?
Okay, so here's the reason. And I think this is why it just keeps ratcheting up higher and higher and higher. The press is unwilling to see what they are contributing. And quite honestly, so is Donald Trump. I mean, we all know Donald Trump. Please stop tweeting from time to time. Just stop tweeting, please.
Well, he's cut back in the last week. Have you noticed?
Stop saying things like, the press is the enemy. Let's find a new way to say what they're doing. But that's just inflammatory language. It's not going to make people kill people or anything else, but it's just not helpful. The same thing with the press. They are on full blast. They can't hear anything but their own voice and their own little bubble. And so it just keeps going.
Yeah, that's what Jon Stewart, my pal, said to Christiane Amanpour, everyone. Let's say I'm a big hand for her.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Said the press is so narcissistic. And by narcissistic, that means you can never admit you're wrong. So if never admits they're wrong, you're narcissistic.
And I think it's also, how dare he say that? We are the press, and we are doing an important job, and we are buttoned down, and we would never do that. Oh,
yeah, Stewart, a big liberal, huge liberal, but an honest man, which is why I associated with him. Okay? He nailed it. He said, look, the press is making a mockery out of what they're supposed to be doing, which is trying to find the truth. That's the furthest thing from what the press wants to do now. They want to destroy Donald Trump, destroy him, as they did Brett Kavanaugh. So what you have now with the election is a fascinating thing. So Americans go to the polls and they have a decision to make. Who do you want to entrust power? Okay, with whom do you want to entrust power? Do you want to give it to the left, which doesn't want due process, which will lie all day long about what's going on, and which isn't interested in the truth but wants to destroy a president with whom they disagree? Or do you want to give it to the right, who maybe at times goes overboard in whatever they're pursuing, but they're not trying to undermine the country as it stands now?
They're not trying to.
It really is.
Here's the thing. I think Democrats and Republicans, they both suck, and they're both engaging in much of the same stuff. There is a difference here. The so-called alt-right is not from the right. They're socialists. They're collectivists. That's not a right philosophy. It is in Europe. It's not here. So it's not actually part of the right. On the left, you have the radicals on the left, the democratic socialists, that say they want to bring an end to capitalism. Those guys on the alt-right and the left, that's not American. That is literally undermining the capitalist system and America as we know it. Now, if you want to do that, that's fine, but that is undermining. But I don't think that I think there's 70% of this country, the Democrats and the Republicans, that just don't want anything to do with either one of those. Just leave me alone.
I don't know any alt-right people. I mean, I really don't.
I don't think I do either. Do we know anybody who we would consider alt-right? I mean, there's no friends.
But we know names of people in the movement.
Yeah, but we don't know anybody. We've not met them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know them. And the white nationalists, where are they? I know the Chicago White Sox, but I don't know where the where are they? Where do they live? Do they have a club? Do they go on vacation somewhere?
Right.
That I can actually talk to them?
Yeah.
But I know a lot of left-wing loons, Beck.
I do too.
Lots.
Yeah, and they are out saying it. an end to the Constitution. It is outdated, and an end to capitalism. And they are
to the
saying
people
that.
right on, man.
Yep.
Let's share the land.
Yeah. This land is your land. This land is my land. I don't know if you know that. Bill O'Reilly, author of Killing the SS, and you can find him every day at BillO'Reilly.com. Thanks, Bill. Appreciate it.
All right, Beck. Talk soon. Bye.
Yep.